Hey, IOSDEX here, #1 private Overwatch coach over on iosdex.com and former head coach for organizations such as NYXL and the Boston Uprising. What's your in-game name?
Fermit on the Ash, on the red team.
Does that word have a meaning?
I mean, kind of. So, my account is kind of old, and I used to be just kind of Kermit because I didn't really have much, and I kind of just fat-fingered F somehow instead of K. Don't ask how that happened. And I was like, Fermit's kind of funny sounding, and so I kind of just stuck with it for a couple of years.
Always the most interesting background stories behind
Of
people's
course,
names.
of course.
You know, imagine one day you're on the Overwatch League stage, the interviewer asks you, like, "Yo, how did you come up with your name?" And you're like, "You know, my fingers are really fat."
Yeah, my fingers are really fat, and somehow I pressed the key on the opposite side of the keyboard. You know.
Okay, so there's already some stuff to talk about. Mamma
I'm
mia.
sure. I'm sure.
So the first thing, you know, to kind of talk about a little bit is your movement. So I want you to take a look at your movement and kind of just tell me what you think.
I'm hopping around a lot.
Yes, #1.
I'm hopping around very much. And I guess I'm not playing the cover I should be playing. I'm kind of out in the open right here. I guess I've got the billboard next to me. I guess that's what that is. I don't really know what that is. But yeah, I'm kind of just out in the open here.
So
but I'm not too sure. I don't have much experience, so I'm kind of hoping to like understand more from this session.
So
you know?
First of all, jumping is another cardinal sin.
Yeah.
As a little tip, what I recommend is your keyboard rotated clockwise or counterclockwise?
Clockwise.
So what I recommend you do is in the in-game settings, rebind crouch to C, right?
Okay.
Makes sense. C for crouch.
Yeah.
And then instead of resting your thumb on the spacebar, rest it on C.
Yeah, that's actually what I used to do. But I mentioned earlier I kind of got dragged along with Valorant. In Valorant, the main crouch is control, so I kind of just got used to that.
You don't know you
but
can
I can play
rebind
both.
keys in Valorant
Yeah, I can
too,
just
right?
rebind it. Yeah. I just don't know which is more effective. I guess I just kind of like didn't think about it. I was like, oh, whatever. Crouch button is a crouch button.
So control is kind of a shit keybind because your pinky is very weak, right? So it's like the only time you would use control to crouch is if you use toggle crouch. But like having to hold down a key with the pinky isn't super amazing. If you have your keyboard rotated counterclockwise, you usually have crouch bound to left alt. And if you have it rotated clockwise, you usually have it bound to C.
Okay.
And again, the spacebar, you shouldn't have any fingers resting on the spacebar. Or like any fingertips resting on the spacebar, right? Like obviously if your thumb touches it a little, it's okay.
Okay.
Because again, jumping is honestly something you just don't really do that often.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the apex intuition kind of kicking in.
Oh yeah, no,
Apex
apex movement is very unique. It's very different. Yeah, so you kind of have to get used to it. But yeah, so that's the first issue. You're jumping a lot, and issue #2 is so on a scale of 1 to 10, right? 1 means you're basically standing still, and 10 means you're literally, you know, fighting for your life.
Yeah.
Right. What, you know, where does your movement fall?
Well, with the jumps, I'd say probably a 4. Just because jumping makes you an easier target.
Right, but if let's ignore the jumps. Right, we already talked about the jumps.
Okay, just like this, it's like specific engagement.
Yeah, you know, like especially this
like,
right here.
Like just eating the Junkrat. Probably a 3 or a 4 because I kind of just let that happen. I'm kind of just getting spammed right now. I'm not doing much about it.
Yeah, so it's
no.
Okay, so it's kind of like a little bit paradoxical, but you're like both a 3 and a 10 at the same time. So basically, So basically, what you're doing here is there's no real term for it. I just like to call it vibrating, right?
Okay.
You're basically vibrating, which means you're strafing very, very rapidly, right?
Yeah.
And that does two things. So first of all, it doesn't really make you a harder target to hit.
No, because they just line up where I used to be, and I'll walk back into it.
Yeah, like you're just vibrating. You're basically in the same spot, right? You're not even really dodging shots. But at the same time, it also makes it really fucking hard for you to land your shots because you're literally just vibrating, right?
Yeah.
So as a good rule of thumb, let's memorize the timestamp 109. I'm gonna go into the training range to quickly show you. There we go. What you want to do is you need to always prioritize your own accuracy when landing shots, right?
Okay.
The only time you would strafe, more erratically, is if you were like really trying to stay alive. Like if a Widowmaker body shot you, you can like do this, crouch, strafe, all over the place, right? But while you're just landing shots, you don't want to do this. This is what you do right now.
Okay. Yeah.
This is vibrate. This is fucking annoying to land shots with, because your screen is literally, it's making me nauseous. What most people do is kind of this rhythm, right? So that you kind of strafe in between shots.
Okay.
Right?
Makes sense.
Right? So whenever I swap directions, I kind of strafe. And this is much, much slower than fucking this.
Yes.
If you just do this, again, it's really, really annoying. You want to kind of calm your movement down, Like, honestly, sometimes you don't even really strafe. You just kind of do this. Like, I don't know like how well you can see it, but I'm not even really strafing. I'm just you're
just kind of moving.
I'm just moving, Yeah. And this has the advantage of making aiming very easy. I'm in fucking windowed mode, so not that easy, right?
Yeah.
But I don't have to like fight my own movement. Basically, I can just focus on the enemy's movement instead, right? But if you fucking do this, like obviously these bots are really easy to hit because their hitboxes are like massive, But you're not making life very, very easy for yourself, right? Really, most of the time as Ash, you kind of do this, where you like just go in and out of cover, right? And again, my movement is not very fast. I go out, I shoot. I go out, I shoot, right?
Okay. So I don't necessarily have to be super fast. It's just I just have to do it, kind of.
Yeah, like you just have to stay in motion.
Yeah.
Right? As long as you're not standing still is okay, right? Like this movement right here is perfectly fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Like this kind of strafing, like very, very chill, Like you don't want to make it like too difficult.
Yeah, again, I think I'm just used to Apex, where I have to spaz the fuck out every time I get into a gunfight.
Your movement, ideally, it should help your aim, not hurt it. Okay?
Makes sense.
Okay, so let's get back in here. And again, look at your movement here, just to kind of contrast it.
Yep. Yeah, there's the vibrating.
How are you supposed to land shots like that? It's like you're playing on hard mode.
Yeah.
Insane dynamite.
Huge dynamite. Huge dynamite. You know me. Come on now. I'm the best.
Okay.
Yeah, and then this happens.
Okay, so there's like multiple things here. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first one is just HP awareness. Right?
Yeah. I was like, man, like I need heals, but I kind of like, I guess I felt pressured to get in there because we weren't making any progress, but I don't think that was the right way of thinking.
Your Kiriko died anyways. What progress are you going to make here?
Yeah.
Right? You're basically just picking, you're just kind of fishing for picks maybe a little bit, but honestly, you're just waiting for Kiriko to come back, right?
Yeah.
So that's number one. Again, if you press X, you like signal to your healers, like you get marked on their screen.
Yeah, I did the ping, but I just went in a little too deep there.
Right, and you need to be aware of where you're, because she can't fucking heal you if you're not.
Yeah,
going
she can't
to,
see me here. Yeah.
Like look at her perspective. You're like the most annoying fucking DPS she's played with all day.
She's like, bro, I'm trying to heal you. You're around the wall.
Yeah, like look how frustrating this is.
Trying. Oh man.
Like, look, she even gets on the car. She's like,
yeah,
look, she even used her nade.
Even used a nade. Wow. Yeah, that's all me.
Okay, and then look. Do you know how disappointed she was here?
Yeah,
Bro,
absolutely.
she was devastated. So that's the first issue. And then also maybe like kind of in terms of target focus. So what do we want to do as a DPS player? You know, let's not even talk about Ash specifically, but just as a DPS player in general, what do we want to do?
Well, obviously output damage. That's the big one. Output damage
No,
and get
no,
picked.
no, 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 no,
No?
no. Okay. Output damage. That's not that's like, you know, output damage is kind of like a cook saying, you know, my job is to cook food. You know, that's not
I mean, they're
really,
not wrong.
you know, it's not wrong, right? But like cooking the food is kind of a means to an end. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
like prepare, you know, good tasting meals would be, you know, better. And like cooking
Okay.
something is like a part of preparing a meal, you know. But like obviously a cook needs to do a lot more, you know, like spice it properly, season it properly, cut stuff, you know, mise en place, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So like yes, we want to deal damage, you know, but you know, I mean, a cook, he could just take like a chicken thigh, put it into some boiling water, and then put it on a plate. Like he cooked something,
yeah.
but he didn't really cook something, you know. So right here, you're like dealing damage, but that's not really your job. The same way that cooking stuff is not really a cook's job, you know. What your job really is you want to fuck people up. You want to like be an annoying little cunt. You want to apply pressure. You want to get picks. So how annoying are you really if you just shoot this Roadhog?
Well, I got him off height here, so I was a little annoying, but I definitely wasn't buzzing around him or doing anything crazy like that.
Right. Like if you think about Ash, is that really your job?
No, my job is to apply pressure on the squishies. No.
On the squishies, exactly. Right. And what does that do? Right.
It gets them away from their tank. Ideally.
Right.
No. Or kills them. I mean, ideally it fucking kills them, but
I mean, ideally it kills them, right? But even if it doesn't, right? So what do you think is more annoying to the Roadhog? You tickling him, or you
shooting his backline.
completely shutting down his healing supply? Right?
Absolutely, yeah. Just shutting down his healing supply, or just getting a pick on maybe one of their DPS so they can't do it to me, you know?
Exactly, right? If you apply pressure on a DPS on the enemy team, he's not going to be very useful. If you apply pressure on a support, they're not going to be very useful, right? The tank is kind of like the last person you really clean up. Obviously, there are exceptions, you know, like as Bastion, for example.
There's always exceptions to all the rules.
You know, if this Roadhog was anti-nated, if this Roadhog was discorded, right, then you can focus them, you know? When they're debuffed in some way, or when, you know, you play Bastion and your character is just really good at dealing with them, or Reaper. But as Ash, that's not really our place, and you just have to kind of be aware that shooting this Roadhog doesn't really like do anything, you know. And like that's really what your dynamite is for as well, you know. It's a huge source of pressure. Like ultimately, there's not really a big difference between like killing someone and forcing them out, you know. Like if you throw your dynamite at the enemy Mercy, you know, and she needs to decide between, you know, continuing to heal her tank and dying, or going behind cover and regenerating HP, you know, that's pressure. That's what we want to do. You know. So right here, this is like a very basic example, right? This is like a very basic test, right? You have the choice here. There's a Baptiste on your screen and there's a Roadhog on your screen, right? And that's kind of what I mentioned earlier about when you play one role, you kind of develop an intuition, right? You need to intuitively shoot the Baptiste here, you know, which you didn't do. And again, it seems really nitpicky, like, oh, but there was just one shot.
No, but that's
right?
absolutely
But it kind of shows the intent that you had. Okay, well, back in action, let's try this whole thing again, right? And another thing is, right, so this is where it gets kind of a little bit more advanced. Obviously, now we know that focusing squishies is kind of where we can apply the most pressure. You also need to take a look at where that pressure is going to kind of give you the biggest, you know, return, you know? So, for example, if you notice that, like, the enemy Cassidy is being, like, really annoying, you know, like, he's been a huge problem, then you can kind of direct your attention towards him, you know? If you notice that maybe the enemy tank is the biggest problem and the enemy DPS aren't really doing that much, then you want to focus your attention more so on the back line, you know, to annoy
Okay,
the hog, right? Or again, you know, right here, if you see the hog is anti-naded,
yeah,
you don't really care about the supports here. You just try to kill the hog, you know. Obviously, right here, the anti-nade, you know, you're kind of late to the party. It's already gone, you know. But like this is good. See, now you're focusing the Baptiste, and shooting the Baptiste there. Like, imagine if you would have shot the Roadhog instead.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten jack shit done.
You wouldn't have achieved anything,
healing.
right?
Yeah.
And there's also mechanical implications of shooting squishies, right?
Yeah.
You get better aim that way.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Right?
Yeah.
If you just spam tanks every day, like it's very easy, you know, right? Like shooting this Mercy is hard, right? You're struggling.
Yeah.
You didn't quite secure the pick. But does it
close.
Right? But look, does it really matter that you didn't kill her here?
Oh, because I got her to fuck off. No, she broke line of sight. She couldn't heal.
So how much healing is this Rotor going to get?
Nada.
Nothing. You know, I mean, he's antied, right? But like, even if not, there's really not that like for all intents and purposes, there's not a huge difference between you actually landing that last shot on the Mercy or not.
Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. Right? No, that makes total sense. Yeah, no. So my objective there wasn't necessarily to kill her, but I achieved my objective, which was getting her away from the tank.
Exactly.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay, so now we got the checkpoint. Like, you don't really need to do much here. Like, you can push up a little, apply some pressure, you know, kind of maintain that tempo, but it really depends on what your tank wants to do, right? Your Junkrat died. There's a Roadhog. At this point, you kind of just have to wait until your Junkrat comes back.
Yeah, I'm just kind of baiting out the hook at this point.
Right, but again, look, a lot of attention on the Roadhog. Shooting a tank is, it's like a default thing, you know? It's like, if we go back to the kitchen analogy, shooting the tank is kind of the equivalent of like cleaning up while you're cooking. You know, like if you don't know what to do in the kitchen, you can always quickly grab a knife and rinse it off. You know, like it's not bad, right? But you should look for like higher priority things to do instead. You know, you don't want to rinse off that knife if you need to flip the steak.
So here, I think I was kind of in the rinsing off the mindset here because we just capped the point. I'm waiting for somebody to respawn. So at this point, I'm just kind of rinsing off the knife. But I mean, at this point, of course, you know, hindsight 2020. I didn't see that motherfucker standing there through the wall. But if I just peeked out a little bit, especially since I got his hook out, I could have definitely taken a bit more of a wider angle and tried to fuck up.
So I get to have like a specific example here, being here would just already be like better.
It'd be
you know? And then you know, even landing one headshot on him, you know, maybe you can even pick him. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
And then the Mercy needs to fly in and res him, and then you kill her as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Roadhog, he does not give any.
No, he doesn't care. He just doesn't care.
Right, and then here, you know, same thing. You know, you're really like, look how many resources you're investing into that Roadhog, and he's
still living.
He doesn't care. Right.
True.
So you wasted your ultimate. Not wasted your ultimate, right? Like your ultimate.
But I could have gotten more value. But instead, I was just too tunnel vision on the tank, and I just was like, I want to get him dead. Yeah, but I could have shot the Echo right next to him, or the Mercy standing on the corner, like, maybe even but it's an Ana standing on the corner.
Like the timing of the ultimate was really good, because you wanted to kind of tempo ult. You know, you wanted to use it to kind of force the enemy team back, snowball a little bit.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you would have dropped it down, you know, just straight ahead, you know, and it would have landed, like, somewhere back here, you know?
Oh, yeah, then it would have actually, like, just forced them into us. It would have been, like a pincer
Exactly,
attack.
Right? Exactly, a pincer, right? That would be way more annoying, you know? So Bob into the backline just kind of generates more value. And again, then also in terms of the target focus, you know? Because while Bob is up, right? If you land like one headshot on the Cassidy, like that might be enough to just finish him off, you know? Or another thing is, Bob actually deals, like on contact, he deals a very significant amount of damage.
What's the exact number on contact?
God knows. I don't know.
God knows, okay, it's a lot.
Wait, I can find it out. Overwatch Wiki, Ash, let's see.
Here we go.
It's pretty, did you know that she's 39? There you go, the more you know.
I think I did, actually.
120.
Wow, that is a fat amount of damage.
Yes, again, I didn't know the exact... Like, that's one of the things about Overwatch. you kind of don't need to know the exact values. You just need to know if something like hurts or if it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, if it don't hurt, yeah, no,
Bob
absolutely.
hurts, you know? Like you with Bob, usually you just Bob is squishy, you hit one body shot in the air, Bob tickles them, they're dead. That's basically all you need to know about Bob. So using it on a tank is like kind of wasted because again, tanks are kind of designed to withstand pressure.
Yeah.
You know? So applying pressure to them is always a little bit, you know.
Yeah. Not the best because they're meant to take it.
Exactly. You know, that Echo on the other hand could have fucked her up. Now you did ultimately clean up the Roadhog.
The
The Roadhog, which is nice, but again, a lot of resources invested. Right? And then right here, right, like these shots you're whiffing, right?
Yeah.
Is not because you have bad aim. Like fundamentally. It's just because you don't really like actively use it. And if you don't actively use something, it kind of gets rusty. Right?
Okay.
Like the number one reason people have bad aim, or I guess the number two reason. Number one reason is they just don't play enough. But like the number two reason is that they're just not like challenging themselves enough. You know, like good aim is one of those things where like a lot of people say, oh, you know, I didn't go for that squishy because I don't have good aim. But it's like the other way around. If you want good aim, you have to go for squishies. That's
makes
what
sense.
gives you good aim. See, like that was a really nice headshot.
Okay, and then here I get maybe a little tunnel vision on the.
Yeah, this is hella. Yeah,
flanking.
again, because again, our goal is to apply pressure. What you're doing here doesn't apply pressure.
Yeah, it does not applying any pressure.
It's kind of a waste of time, you know.
Yeah.
Like shooting the Echo there, that applies pressure, you know. Like that Echo isn't going to hurt anyone now because you fucked her up, you know.
Yeah.
You didn't kill her, but that's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, like.
And then here I could have killed her, but I whiffed some more.
I mean, you landed like a pretty nice headshot. Again,
Yeah,
like when you look at a fight like this, again, really the main issue is just that the Bob earlier didn't give you as much momentum as you really needed.
Yep.
And you wasted too much time on the Cassidy instead of trying to like if we go back here.
Yeah, like those healers just walked out of that door right there.
Yeah,
if
you know,
I got timing super hard. If I just waited there and waited for them, yep, right there, I
right.
could have had a free pick on that.
This guy could have been a free pick, right?
Yep.
The Cassidy over there, you know, like there's ways for you to like this Cassidy. He shouldn't be able to do what he's doing, you know, like right here. Yeah. You know, that's like it needs to be a death sentence. You know, you need to go click. You know?
So just maintaining the position there. Yeah. So I just got to tunnel vision on the cast, maybe trying to flank.
Exactly. And yeah, the thing is that Overwatch, like especially Overwatch 2, is like very tank heavy, right? They're like they have large power budgets. It's called.
No, yeah, tanks are the that's like the term, like they just have like a lot of power to spend.
Yeah, like a power budget is basically when you like try to design a character, they have like a power budget. So you know, if you give them like a really strong ability, right? Like it takes up a lot of their budget, so the other abilities can't be as strong, right?
Bro, wait, but Sojourn and Kiriko exist? Are you fucking kidding me? Wait, hold on a second.
Well, I mean, yes.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yes, obviously, you know, the power budget of different characters isn't always the same, right? Ultimately, that's what like balancing, you know, does, right? But if you look at like Sojourn, for example, you know, she doesn't like one way that like her power budget is kind of kept in check is that they made her left click a projectile, you know.
Yeah.
Her abilities have very like her E has like a 15-second cooldown.
Yeah, crazy
right?
cooldown.
She doesn't have like any real utility besides that E slow, you know. She doesn't have like any stuns or hooks or anything of the sort, right?
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's kind of how to think about it. But tanks, they don't really follow that rule because they have a significantly higher power budget. Now, whether you agree with that kind of design philosophy is a different matter, right? But ultimately, what it means is that if you lose your tank, like in that fight right there, because you were fucking off to deal with the Cassidy, your diva ended up dying because of it.
Yeah.
And because she has such a high power budget, losing her is like a big blow.
Yeah, it's a really big hit.
Yeah. Like if the other DPS in your team dies, like the fight is still winnable. You can still get a pick and turn it around.
Yeah.
Once your tank is down, you know, difficult.
And here I kind of just get pushed by their ulted echo.
Right. Yes. So again, first of all, your positioning here is just a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
This is
Which is why I tried to coach up onto the height to try and get more, but I was kind of scared with my health to kind of push up further.
Yeah, like the entire situation is just kind of awkward, you know, like you kind of get dunked on here, and like in general you're just like really split from your team.
Yeah.
Right, because you wasted time there shooting the Roadhog. Right there you're pressuring the Echo, which in of itself is fine. But yeah, it's just kind of an awkward situation. Again, we still don't have a Bob. That's kind of like the main issue. Now right here again, it's like you like the target focus again is a little weird. Like right here, there's like a Baptiste on top. There's a Mercy. There's a McCree.
Yeah.
You know?
I didn't even see that Bap's legs. That's crazy. Yeah.
Right, but like even if we ignore the Bap, there's a Mercy, and there's a Mercy pocketed Cassidy. Who should be our target?
Yeah.
Obviously the Mercy, right? But look, you just ignore her. You know.
Yeah.
And it's those small things ultimately that differentiate like a really, really good DPS from one that's not as good.
Yeah. It's okay, you can call me shit, I know.
It's okay.
It's okay.
But again, like that ultimate early just really kind of
really lost us a lot of tempo.
Overwatch is very ult heavy, you know. Messing up ultimates is like a big point of you know, struggle.
Yeah.
Okay, so we kind of need to start doing something here. Okay, applying some pressure to the... See, this is also one of those situations where maybe you need to think about like changing up your positioning a little bit to increase the amount of pressure you apply. So like right here, for example, I wouldn't have gone like over there to the left.
Up to the window, no?
You should have just gone up here, you know?
Yeah.
And then from here, if you peek here...
Oh, the BAP right there. BAP's
right. That would be a lot of pressure, you know? Or again, you can like push out. I guess there's an Echo, you know, you can fuck her up. You know, if you like aim down here, there's like people to shoot. Right, like basically this angle is just much, much stronger. Again, also something you kind of learn over time as you play the maps more. You know, you'll kind of figure out what really good positions are. One good advice is like look at other people, you know, playing the map. That way you can kind of develop a feel for like which positions, you know, might be good. You know, it's like a good source of inspiration, basically. Okay, we do finally have another ultimate, which we really shouldn't use here.
Yeah, nice. I don't think I do. Yeah, I just get shit on.
Good. I was a little concerned that could have backfired.
Yeah, my ult usage could definitely just be better across the board, though.
Okay, so they're up on high ground, right? Like that McCree already looks like a pretty big source of pressure. You know, because he's like Mercy pocketed, you know, so like
he's being Mercy pocketed.
You know, like in general, the Mercy here should just kind of be a priority for you because so far she's like the most annoying, you know, on the enemy team. But like, see, this is good, right? There, you pressure the Baptiste, you forced him off of high ground. That's like a small victory. Right here, the Roadhog is anti-nated. You focus him. That's really good. Obviously, this you guys should be able to finish the push here.
Yeah, I think we do.
Lucky. Okay, we can skip ahead a little. Again, your movement here is
just not ideal.
Right, and this has been happening like for the entire game. Your movement is really, really ADHD. I just don't like mentioning it repeatedly because it gets a little monotonous.
No. I mean, keep mentioning it so I keep.
Yeah, like
in my head
throughout
here.
the entire game, you're like constantly
ADHD
like jumping. There, you jumped again, right? Now you use your ultimate here. Why is that not a good idea?
I'm sorry, I was putting notes in one more time.
You ulted here. Why is that not a good idea?
Oh, because it doesn't have. It's not targeting anyone. There's not much of not much impact in this ultimate.
Yes.
And I didn't need it. I also didn't need the ultimate here.
Your tank is dead.
Oh well, yeah. There we go.
Right. Again, sometimes the simple
part
answer.
Of the thinking is sometimes like throwing out my Bob, which is, I mean, definitely probably not the right thing to do. But I like throwing out my Bob as the tank almost sometimes to keep him up, keep up the pressure.
Only do that if you need to like contest in overtime or something.
Okay.
Generally speaking, you want to use Bob to like win fights, you know.
Okay.
And like
not
that Bob
necessarily
there
keep up
just
pressure,
yeah,
but
like the
just,
Bob
like,
just didn't really.
He's a win condition. He's not a.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a very strong ultimate.
Yeah, Bob is him, bro. Bob is him. He's him.
Okay, right there again. Look, like you're wasting so much time on that left side, like with the Rhine and everything.
Yeah.
You don't, right? Like there we go. You know, pressure on the Baptiste. That's really, really good. Look, more pressure on the Baptiste. There you go. He's dead. He probably would have died even if the Junkrat didn't tire. You know, because you applied pressure on him. You know, then right here you apply pressure on the Moira, but again your movement is just ass.
Yeah.
So you know you're not going to land anything because you're hippity hoppity.
Oh, and this was just unfortunate. I remember this so vividly. Oh my gosh. The echo shatter. Oh my god, wait for it. And then there it is, bro. Oh my.
Too strong. Okay, this looks like a reset. Man, your movement is magical, actually.
You like it? Probably kind of cracked.
Look at you, dude.
Yeah, I need to work on that.
Okay, yeah, this is this round is over. Well, time flies by when you're having fun. Do you?
Oh yeah, indeed.
Do you have any questions?
Well, questions. Man, let me think about it. I guess I don't really have any like super specific questions. I guess. How do I know how do I know what positions to take? Because there's a lot of positions there where it's like if I just taken that, like I would have been so much better off. But like, is there like a rule to being able to figure out where the positioning is, or is it just kind of game sense thing, just kind of like knowing more about the game and where to go?
So we differentiate between macro and micro positioning.
Okay.
So micro positioning is like just using corners, for example, to kind of peek around. That's something that you just kind of learn once and then you can just always do it. Macro positioning, like kind of where to position overall, is something that depends a lot on kind of just learning the maps. And like kind of trying out different positions, right? It's not really something you can, again, kind of one thing you can do is, maybe if you play against a really good Ashe, sometimes it can be worth it to just go to the replay viewer and kind of see what positions she takes, like to kind of get some inspiration. Or in your own games, just experiment.
Okay. Oh yeah, makes sense. Well, I mean, yeah, we got 3 minutes left. I mean, I don't really know. I guess I just need to play more of the game and kind of understand it more. For a lot of these. And stop jumping a lot.
Yes.
Stop with the 80 constantly. What other takeaways are there? Like big takeaways.
That's pretty much it. Again, I'm going to be writing your summary right after the next session is over. There you can again like read through everything we talked about.
Sweet.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Okay, well, I guess not.
Very simple. Okay, then now we get to the fun part, by which I mean capitalist marketing.
Oh
okay.
Yes, of course.
Okay. No. First of all, very simple question. So season 2 is coming out pretty soon. And people have been begging me to start uploading coaching sessions again. So over the past few days, I'm just asking people afterwards if they're okay with their session potentially being used for YouTube. Completely optional. You don't have to say yes.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I'm totally fine with this being used for YouTube. I don't know if I feel like these are pretty just like general things. So I don't know.
Which is what makes it perfect for a YouTube video.
Oh, okay.
Right. When I talk about really specific stuff, it's like not as interesting because it doesn't apply to as many people, right? But like seeing examples of these issues, like shooting tanks too much, poor movement, is pretty helpful. Okay. Well, I'm going to write the summary. Once that summary is done, I'll send you a DM on Discord with the link, so you can open it up right away. At the bottom of the summary, I always use that space for like promotional stuff. So, for example, there's like a referral promo. There's if you do like a review of the session, there's a promo, like, so you can read through that, kind of see some ways to get free coaching. Obviously, you have the 30-day coaching pass. If you have any questions, you can just send me a DM. In terms of follow-up coaching, again, as I said, capitalist marketing, I need to do it. There's basically two ways, right? So 2 ways you can go about follow-up coaching if that's something you want to do in the future. The first thing is something called the Phoenix Pass. It's basically like a gym membership for coaching. So it's like a recurring payment, but you gain a lot of perks. For example, there are no cancellation or rescheduling fees, and you can also schedule sessions on weekends, which is exclusive to Phoenix Pass members. And obviously Phoenix Pass members just get sessions way cheaper, right? So if you think, hey, I like the session, I maybe want to do this semi-regularly, you know, maybe every 1 or 2 weeks, then a Phoenix Pass just makes sense. Alternatively, at the bottom of the session summary, there's also going to be a follow-up discount code. So if you decide to book a follow-up session within the next 7 days, right? Purchase the follow-up session. You don't have to actually schedule it within the next 7 days, but if you purchase it within the next 7 days, you can get a discount on that. Yeah, I think that's it, actually. Okay. Bang on time. Okay, awesome. If you have any questions, my DMs are open, and I wish you the best of luck.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for the coach, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. Have a good one. See ya.
Yeah, you too, man.